I peed on myself. I don't know how that happened, okay? What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So today I'm gonna be talking about how I knew that I was pregnant. So you guys already saw our reactions of us finding out that we were pregnant, so I kind of wanted to do like a sit down, because in that video obviously I didn't talk much. It was just like very much real footage, all put together, reactions, all that good stuff. But I haven't really sat down and just really told you guys how I knew I was pregnant. So if I'm being honest, I didn't really know, but at the same time it was like I had an intuition. I think I was in denial for a while because y'all, it's honestly crazy. I did not know that I was gonna be making this type of content this soon, but you know, it is what it is. I'm very excited, very blessed to say the least, and I wouldn't change it for anything. So let's go ahead and get into the story time. So to be honest, it's like I had a gut feeling that I could be, and I would joke about it all the time, like with Malik and stuff like that, and I'd be like, bro, like what if I'm pregnant? We're not trying to prevent it. I had just gotten off birth control not that long before I actually got pregnant. I don't know, you guys, I just couldn't do it anymore. I hated how it made me feel. I had like 2 periods a month. It was just not the best. And I also was at the point where I was like, you know what, like if I get pregnant, I'm okay. I was with someone who I genuinely want to have children with, so I was like, if I do get pregnant, then it is what it is. So I got off of birth control back in like June, I believe it was. So this was right before my birthday. My birthday is July 6th. July comes around and it is my birthday. Like I said, we went to Mexico. We actually went to Mexico for one of our friends' weddings. Well, for 2 of our friends' weddings. We were both in the wedding, so we went to that, and that had been planned like for a while already. And so like I knew I was gonna go to Mexico for my birthday because their wedding was on the 8th and my birthday was on the 6th. And you know, your girl was looking good, y'all. Your girl was snatched. I was like looking so good. We were in the gym hardcore. Like when I'm telling you, I was working out. You know, we get ready, we go, and I have this intuition feeling like this is gonna be one of my last trips without like one with this body. And I don't even want to say that because baby, we're gonna snap back in our own way. Probably gonna look better than I did before I was pregnant, if I'm being honest. That's how I feel. And I didn't get a lot of pictures. I didn't get a lot of, like, we got like videos and stuff, but I didn't really vlog that trip either. And I was kind of like, bruh, like I wish I would have vlogged it. It's like I knew in my heart that like I could be pregnant, right? So that was like one thing, right? And I think that's the reason of why, like when we got back, like I told Malik over and over, I was like, bruh, I barely got any content. But whatever, it was a great time. We had a great time. Clearly we weren't trying, like we weren't actively like, okay, we're gonna get pregnant on this trip, you know what I'm saying? Like there are couples that, you know, we've obviously like family planned and did all of that already, but like there are couples that literally are like, we're gonna try on this day or we're gonna try on this week. We didn't do any of that. We were just like aware and prepared for whatever the outcome would be. So anyways, fast forward, we get back from Mexico and I get really sick, y'all. Like very sick, like bedridden sick. Like I can't even get up. I had just started my new job at that time, and we got back from Mexico on a Sunday. Then a few days later, I was super duper sick. Like I couldn't go into the office the next week because I was that sick. Like my back was hurting. I was literally in the bed for like a week. I like couldn't really eat. I was like just like fragile. Like if I was to like stand up and cook or do dishes or any of that, I felt like I was gonna pass out. I didn't have a fever, but I kind of had like chills and things like that, and I thought it was COVID. So I went and got tested for COVID because I had to for my job as well, and it came back negative. So didn't have COVID, right? Another funny part of the story is literally the day I had to go into the office for like an orientation right before I got really sick. And so I went, whatever, it went great. And y'all, I got back home and I peed on myself. I don't know how that happened, okay? I don't know. Literally couldn't hold it. Like, I had never felt something like that in my entire life before. So those were kind of like signals to me that my body is like, what's going on? But in that time that I was sick and all of that happened, I got on my period. So I bled for like 4 or 5 days, which is a regular period. And what's wild is I told Malik, go buy a pregnancy test. I think we should take a pregnancy test, because I'm like, I'm bleeding. What if I'm pregnant and I'm bleeding? What if I need to go to the hospital, whatever? But obviously, like, it was too early to take one. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I had never taken a pregnancy test in my entire life. I never had any type of like scare or like thought that I was ever pregnant, ever. He went and bought one, and obviously they came back negative. They came back negative because like it was too early to take one. So anyways, we go on about our, you know, weeks, whatever. Some weeks pass by. We go out with some friends. I was still drinking, like I was still going out, I was still doing stuff because I didn't feel pregnant at all. I was still working out hardcore, and actually it took me a minute to get back in the gym because I was sick. And then I got back in the gym, finally kind of got like my immunity back a little bit, but I did feel like a little bit weaker. Then I just kept working out, kept doing what I was doing, whatever. So the end of July comes back around and we take another pregnancy test. We had like some clear blues just underneath the sink, right? And Malik and I wanted to like go out and drink or whatever, one like at the very end of the month, and or it might have been like the very first week of August. It was something like that. And he was like, you know what, let's just take a test just to be safe, so like I'm not like, you know, drinking and stuff like that. So we take one, and it's the one that's the digital that says pregnant or not pregnant, and it said not pregnant. So we were like, okay. And at this point I feel like it should have told me, but it might have still been like a little bit too early. I really don't know. Clearly I took it too early. So at this point we've taken like 3 or 4 tests, right? It's the end of July, beginning of August. So then August comes around, whatever, the days are going by, and I'm like, my period, where's my period? And I go on my period tracker app, because I have the period tracker app, and my period is nowhere to be found. It is late, and my period is never late. But I'm like, well, when I was on birth control, I was like, I just got off birth control, like my body's probably all the way thrown off. Go ahead, and I'm just thinking like, it's gonna come. Then it's August 28th, okay? August 28th, 2022, and my period is still not here. Yeah, I'm probably pregnant. 9 times out of 10 I am. So Malik was like, you know what, let's just take these tests, let's get this out of the way, let me go buy some or whatever. So he did. So he left, he went and got the pregnancy test, and as y'all can see, we found out we were pregnant. So that's really how that went, and I was shook. Like, literally, you guys, I wish I could make up my reaction, but that's literally how I felt in that moment. And I know you guys were probably like, bruh, she is so dramatic. But y'all, it's like I knew it was a possibility, but you know when you know something is a possibility, but you're still like in denial. You're like, it's not happening. Yeah, no, that's what I thought. So I was like literally bamboozled by the results of the test. Didn't have any nausea. I didn't throw up at all, like 0. I didn't have like any symptoms, y'all, like no symptoms. The only symptoms I did have was like my boobs were kind of hurting, and I was like, why do my boobs hurt? But that always happens when I'm about to get my period. So like, I wasn't thinking anything of it. That was it. And then what really did it for us was when we went to the doctor's, y'all. When we went to the doctor's office, our first appointment, so right when I found out I was pregnant, we went ahead and we called, well, I had to call like my insurance and have them refer, you know, doctors here in the Dallas area for me, so I can go and like get checked and make sure like you know, I'm actually pregnant, because you want to verify everything first. And I'm like, I need to see how far along I am, whatever. And at first we were like, I don't think it happened in Mexico. Maybe it happened like after we came back, because all of those tests came back negative. So I'm like, I might be like 4 weeks, right? That's what I was thinking. No, we go to the doctor. Me and Malik both go together. The first appointment was just like a checkup. Like, I did some urine tests. I think I did some blood work, maybe. I can't remember. I might have done that the second appointment. I really cannot remember that far back. Basically, they just did like a lot of like checkup, make sure that like my insurance covers all of this extra stuff, right? Like just the basics. And then they were like, we're gonna schedule you for an ultrasound next week so we can see how far along you are. My OB, when we first went in and she tracked my last period, she was like, you could possibly be due around like April 2023. And I'm like, okay, but you know, just in one ear out the other. So that was that first appointment. But then we went to the ultrasound, and obviously they can measure the baby. They can really see how far along you are. Y'all, it's a whole baby in there, a whole baby in there. So they measure and they're like, oh yeah, you're 8 weeks and 3 days. I said, what? 8 what? So I'm 2 months pregnant. 2 months, not a month, not a month and some change. No, 2 full months. 2 full months. At this point, I'm almost in my second trimester. Like, if you guys really think about it, because your first trimester is up to 14 weeks. So I was almost there. Literally, I had 6 weeks left until my first trimester was completely over. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally 8 weeks pregnant. So we both looked at each other like, oh shoot, yeah, it was in Mexico, because duh. So yeah, so that's how I knew I was pregnant. That's how I found out I was pregnant. That's how we got the confirmation that, yeah, you're pregnant. You're gonna be a mom. You're gonna be a dad. Thank God I never had like any complications or anything like that. I was kind of scared of, you know, experiencing, I don't even want to say it, the M word, because, you know, a lot of women experience that. And it was something that, like, you know, I didn't want to wish upon myself or anything like that. So, like, God forbid. But at the same time, I was very cautious and aware of the fact that, you know, pregnancy does come with a lot of other things that people don't think about. So we chose to like keep it to ourselves for a while. We were going to all the appointments, all the checkups, doing all the blood work, genetic testing, all of that extra stuff. And let me tell you guys, unless you're prepared for that, do not get pregnant. Like, thankfully in my life where I'm at now, I mean, me getting pregnant now or a year from now really would have been very much the same for me. It wasn't gonna make much of a difference. But unless you're like mentally prepared to like deal with certain things, thank God everything has been going good for us. Like I said, you know, a lot of things happen during pregnancy. So God willing, you know, the rest of my pregnancy will go great, and my labor and delivery will go amazing. And I'm also praying for all of the mothers out there, new mothers, mothers that have been in the game for a minute. Definitely leave me your advice down below. I am a first-time mom, so this is my first pregnancy ever. I'm super excited. You know, kind of shocked the world, kind of shocked everyone with the announcement, but I feel like it was a time for me and for Malik to really like bond and really like do things our way and really keep that information to ourselves. You know, it's my first pregnancy. It's the only time I will ever be pregnant for the first time. A lot of people may feel some type of way because you choose to do things how you want to do them, but carry your pregnancy, do things the way that you want to do them, whether people feel some type of way about it or not. I really don't regret waiting to tell people. I really don't regret not telling the whole world. That's what I chose to do, and at the end of the day, it is your decision. It is your kid. That has been my journey thus far. Like I said before, I am gonna continue to create hella pregnancy content because why not, and try to push out as much as I can. I am planning my baby shower and doing all of that stuff, so all of that will be coming up. Anything that you guys want to see, let me know down below. I am praying for all the mothers out there. I love y'all. And you know, definitely any advice or just really anything that you would really like to share, you can definitely share that down in the comment section, or you can DM me via Instagram. That is it on how I knew I was pregnant. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Give this video a big fat thumbs up, and I hope to see y'all in the next video. Love y'all.